680's business editor Richard Southern joins us now from the satellite office. Hey, Richard.
I like the sound of that. How are you, Janella?
Not too bad. Makes it sound more official, right?
It's the Midtown Bureau here.
Yes, the Midtown Bureau. That's right. So, Richard, May rent checks are due tomorrow, and many Canadians are still struggling to pay the bills.
Yeah, struggling to pay the rent. We imagine the same story for businesses too, both large and small, Janella. I mean, many were able to scrape together March's rent and April's rent, but now May could be a different story. And as we hear from insolvency expert Scott Theriault, it's because many of us were already in a dilly of a financial pickle before the pandemic began.
The term living paycheck to paycheck is being shown literally now, because if you can't cover a single month's rent, which a lot of people couldn't do in April, and that was only after a 2 or 3 week impetus. Well, now all of a sudden, if we go into this 2, 3, 4 months, people are going to be in arrears up to $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 here. And so, yeah, there's been zero cushion for a long time.
Yeah, so Scott tells me he's expecting to see insolvencies rise as we progress through the year and when the courts reopen. When it comes to rent, Janella, some landlords are deferring it. But that means you're still going to owe it down the road. And how many people have money for 3 or 4 months rent lying around? It's going to be a big issue as we continue with this.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just going to say the idea that people had, or you're supposed to save 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses, just not the reality for many people.
No. Average credit card debt is what, $15,000 or something like that. So yeah. It's trouble.
It's going to be a tough couple months. So the pandemic initially caused worldwide markets to crash as well, but we did see it bounce back in April.
Yeah, April already in the books for the markets. It was a huge month. It was one of the best months on record, would you believe? They rang the closing bell on Wall Street today, and the Dow for the month was up 11%. The S&P was up 12.6%. Technology led the way. The NASDAQ was up more than 15% in the month. Here at home, the TSX up 10.4% in April. We did see a bit of a sell-off today, but very strong month. We'll see if it continues. A lot of investors are skeptical about the rally because the economic news is so bad. Want to mention quickly, we had 2 of the biggest names in technology reporting earnings here after the bell. Janella, Amazon reported a big miss on profit. They were seeing people spending a lot more, but the cost to keep up with all the extra business hurt its bottom line. Apple, too, suspending its guidance for the current quarter. They don't know what's going to happen with sales with so many people unemployed.
Wow. Okay. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Now, we're also looking at what could happen to the Toronto housing market as the year goes on.
Yeah, we know the market is already cooled. In March and April, we saw sales really fall. But TD Bank came out today saying it thinks home prices will increase 7.8% here in Toronto this year. That's more than they increased last year. There's not as many homes for sale, and that's kind of supporting the prices. And next year in 2021, TD says it expects to see huge housing market activity because of all the pent-up demand. So it seems that hot housing market may remain so. Janella, you and I are back just after 6:30. We got a heartwarming story out of toy maker Mattel. Plus, how does quarantining in a pub sound? We're going to meet the 2 guys that are doing just that after 6:30.
All right. Thanks so much, Richard. We'll talk then.
Thanks.